Hey, what's going on, guys? Sorry about that. We're having some technical difficulties, but we're back. Everybody looks in 4K now. Let's just get back into that Clipper series, just wrapping it up real quick. Uh, we won four straight. We handled business, even though it looked pretty blotchy. But again, this Phoenix Suns team has only played about 12 games together at this point. Continuity is definitely a thing, pretty prevalent. But you couldn't have asked for a better first round opponent because the Clippers, I think they were about top 10 in defense this year, and about like the same like top 10 in offense as well when everybody was healthy. So they're really wing heavy, really 3-and-D heavy, and then they have Ty Lue, and he's a great coach, and what he can do. So we couldn't have asked for a better first round matchup, because I think that really helped us going into round two against a team that's been really good all year.
Yeah, just to wrap up the Clipper series, I mean, like I was saying, it's tough. Like, had they had Paul George and Kawhi, like, what would be different? I mean, I think it would be more difficult. I think it probably would have gone to 7 games.
Right.
But at the same time, you'll never see those guys together. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't see these guys healthy in 4 years. We've seen this 4 years, and you've seen Kawhi with San Antonio. And even when he was with Toronto, I don't know if you guys remember, but like, he was hopping around like a pogo stick. Like, he was on one leg in that final series. He was not healthy. And it sucks because he's a generational player and there's something wrong with him. I don't know if he's going to ever be better than he was in that Toronto series, or Toronto when he was with Toronto. Like, I don't know if he's going to be better than that. That spring chicken that we saw when he was with San Antonio, like, that's like that. Remember that meme where like LeBron saw him coming in, he was like, "Fuck!" Like, I don't want to deal with that dude.
He was like,
I mean, like 48 minutes of that is not happening anymore. Now it's like minutes restriction, games restriction, the whole deal. But as far as the Clippers go, I mean, look, dude, they made this mess. And now you've like brought in Russell Westbrook and he's made a positive impact. And you got these 2 injured guys, and it makes sense to bring Russ in to help that. But we know, I mean, we what we witnessed was the very best version of Russell Westbrook's OKC teams when he was MVP. You know what I mean? Like, where he had like help all over the court. Granted, like, he didn't get the production that he probably should have got out of like Rocco. I don't think Rocco played much. He got a lot out of like Myers Leonard, or not a Myers Leonard. Though, what's that white dude's name?
Plumlee,
Zubac. Like, you got a lot Zubac out of those dudes. You got a lot out of Batum. Like, it was just, and Batum shot making was in, like, you're not going to see that again. Like, that shot making that he made was insane in that comeback against the Suns. Like, he doesn't do that. Like, he's not that dude. He makes it look like he's that dude in the playoffs, but he's not that dude. Yeah. So, I'm just, as far as the Clippers go, like, they're going into a new stadium next year, or not next year, the following year, which actually makes a lot of sense, because like you wondering, like, okay, they have all these stadiums in LA, but like that Saturday game, there was a Kings playoff game, there was a Lakers and Clippers playoff game. All 3 of those were going on in the same day in the same stadium. So yeah, I think it does make sense for the Clippers to have their own stadium. For them to be in LA doesn't make a lot of sense for me. I feel like they should be in like either Anaheim or San Diego, somewhere else. But they're the only, I always say this, and it's a dad joke, but the only Clippers I count on are the ones my barber has.
Yeah, I mean, that LA sports scene is just so congested, and it like NFL, NBA, hockey. I mean, you pick one, dude. I mean, it's just so many teams.
And if there's a Dodgers game, that's like 2 miles up the road, up in Chavez Remy. So like, there's just congestion and no parking for anybody to do anything. And if there's anything going on at LA Convention Center, which is right next to the stadium, then you have another problem. So it's just the whole thing is a mess. The whole thing is a mess.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the city that does it. I know a few do it, but none are coming to mind right now. It's basically a whole area that has the stadiums, just the stadiums alone. It's like the NFL stadium. They have, you know, they have, you know, the NBA stadium there as well, and then they have the NHL and you know, fucking baseball stadium right there too. Like it's just one big area with a shitload of parking, and it goes on for miles. And I think that's the best way to do it. LA is just so congested that they probably will never be able to do it. But the Clippers Stadium is definitely a start because maybe you know, the Kings or something can the LA Kings can like play in that stadium and just, you know, spread it out a bit, man. You know.
Yeah, they need that. They need that for sure. And yeah, I'm trying to think of the cities you're talking about. Some of them are like, I want to say like Kansas City.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I really respect the cities where they keep the stadiums in the actual downtown area. You know what I mean? Because like the 49ers, their stadium is 50 miles away from San Francisco. 50 miles away from the city.
Yeah.
And who else is like that? I mean, there's just so many like that. And you know, I love it when all the teams play in the city. Like they should play in the city. Even like Detroit, right? Like Detroit's in Auburn Hills, and then they moved back to downtown. But like they were in Auburn Hills, like in the suburbs, like another like 30 minutes away or whatever it was. All these teams started doing that, and hopefully all these teams start coming back. But it, you know, everything is landlocked, and you have to take away another building to put a building there. But anyways,
yeah, and I love how the Footprint Center is in downtown along with Chase Field. They're like right next to each other. Makes it really easy. I just love when cities do that. And plus, then you can just see another ballpark. You know, it's just like be like, oh shit, you know. But yeah, the LA sports scene is just crazy. But before we get into the preview for round 2, let's just talk about a couple of.
Let's talk about Jimmy. Let's talk about Jimmy, bro.
Jimmy,
Himmy,
buckets, dude. Okay, so Giannis went down game 1 relatively early. He was out, and then he was out for another 2 games. I understand that, but the Bucks have been really good this year with Giannis not playing. Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton stepped up throughout the year. They beat us when Giannis didn't play, but you know, like us alone, we went through like 4 different seasons, so I'm not putting that much credit to it. So when Giannis went down, I'm pretty sure the Bucks can handle it, at least split the games, which they did. So Miami went up, 2-1 relatively early. They split the next 2 games with Milwaukee. Giannis comes back. This team looks absolutely not what a championship team looks like. I don't know how many of the games you watched, Ahmed, but I started watching after Miami went up 2-1, and like a switch was flipped, and Spoelstra just like I'm speechless. That series was absolutely ridiculous, and this is by far worse than our game 7. And I'm not just saying that. You know, that seems like the mass consensus. I mean, it was 1 game. Like they blew.
We didn't have the lead in the game. They had a 16-point lead with 7 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Drew Holiday hits a 3. They go up 16. You think it's a wrap. I turned the game off. I went to another game, whatever the other game was. I think it was Kings and Warriors or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it was okay. So you know what's funny is like I sound like a basketball psychopath. Every day I think about, at some point in my day, I think about when Jimmy Butler took that 3 against the Bucks when he should have just drove it in. You remember that play when they lost the series in game 7? Yeah, I think about that play every single day. Why do I think about that every day? I don't know why, but I think about that every day. I'm like, what the hell was he thinking? Because he would have at least gotten fouled. If he missed it, at least he tried. best case scenario and won. But the 3, he was on a 3-on-2 break, and he just pulled up, and I'm just like, I just think about that, and I'm like, that changed the whole complexion of everything, because after that point, the perception that the Celtics were actually good was like, I was like, are they really good? Are the Celtics really good? Are we sure? Because the Eastern Conference is weak sauce, and then Jimmy Butler just did the dumbest thing ever. So in a game 7 at home, like, tell me how the Celtics are the favorite, right? But like I didn't watch the game. I saw it on Bleacher Report, like in the box score. I watched the YouTube like clip, like the 10-minute like highlights of the game. And then I had to go back and watch it again, because I'm like, how the hell did this happen? How does a team be down 4 points with 16 seconds to go in the game, tie the game? That fall away shot was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, how the hell did they even make that happen? And then on top of that, they just steamroll them in overtime. Right? We're talking about a championship team that has its entire core, for whatever we know, healthy. Maybe somebody has a torn meniscus, but like Chris Middleton was making shots. Jrue Holiday has actually really sucked in that series. But Giannis didn't make free throws, and they were getting every freaking call they could get. You know, like the whole thing was a joke. It doesn't even make. I don't know how it does it make sense to you what happened?
No, but the only thing I can say is, isn't this prove that fucking finals was fluky as shit? Because we went off statistics. I know this is the Suns podcast and shit, and we keep on getting fucked because we go by trends lean our way, and then it completely flips. Okay, Giannis this year was a 64% free throw shooter. Dude was still mid as fuck when it came to shooting free throws. Like him shooting 10 to 30, 10 to 37, whatever it was, whatever stupid amount it was. Like Shaq can do better, but whatever Giannis shot yesterday was what he was shooting, like basically, like until we played
his entire career, except for that one playoff run.
Yeah, it's like he went 16 to 17 in like the closeout game against us, and this is why us Suns fans are just like cheering, because like it's the most flukiest shit ever. One, like Middleton could not miss a shot for 4 straight games. Jrue Holiday couldn't miss a shot for 4 straight games. Ref favoritism leaned towards run and dunk man, and he was able to do whatever he wanted. And we still only lost maybe by a margin of 6 points for like 4 straight games. Like it was about like a 6-point swing. And just about everybody stepped up. Bobby Portis, Pat Connaughton, like just everyone just started just shooting like crazy. But we were shooting crazy too. But like just because DA was getting in foul trouble within like 2 minutes of each game for 4 games straight, it just allowed Giannis to do whatever, and he hit every goddamn free throw in the finals. And Middleton and Jrue did the same shit. Like they hit every fucking shot. And we gave them all the credit in the world. Like, hey, y'all balled out. Y'all were deeper than us.
Yeah.
Mad respect. The year after, they went 7 against Boston. Chris Middleton went down. I think the Bucks beat the Celtics last year, and Middleton was in. They only needed a little.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, dude. They only need a little scoring punch to wrap that series up in 6. Okay.
And even with that in mind, right? It went to a game 7. Sorry. I'm trying to think of the Miami. You're talking about Celtics. Yeah, Celtics and Bucks. Yeah, no, for sure. Like if he plays healthy, they win that series. They win that series. They needed more scoring.
Just him being healthy. That's it. He could have played like shit, but they just needed a little bit of scoring, and they probably would have wrapped up that series.
Yeah.
And so,
here's the thing, man. Like we can say this about everything, right? Like we could say, like if the Suns get COVID against the Mavs, if whatever the hell. But either way, like here, this is where we are. The situations are the situations, and Giannis got hurt. He missed a few games. They lose a series. Whoop-de fucking do, man. We didn't have Dario. I mean, not that Dario's going to swing the series, but it adds some like layers to like what we can do.
He was a big piece with us. Him and Chris used to just chop up teams, man. Like, and then like Giannis took out Torrey Craig and Dario Saric within the same game, like injured them, and like we're just supposed to be okay with that. But, like, I mean, it was infuriating, and we were told like tell your players to get in the weight room. Like, fuck that. I'm so happy that the Bucks lost because the refs finally called it how they should have. Like, what are you supposed to do as a defender when Giannis is barreling at you? This isn't Shaq we're talking about. Shaq would jump straight up and fucking dunk on you. Let's not do the Shaq-Giannis comparison because they're they play two different ways. Like, as a defender, what are you supposed to do? When you take the charge, Giannis gets rewarded every single time. You jump straight up, he gets rewarded every single time. The last two games, the refs called it how they should have. And I'm so glad that they did. And they made him look defenseless. Like, he couldn't do anything. And don't look at the box score. Yeah. I know he scored 38, but it was an empty 38. Because, like, he wanted nothing to do with the ball at the end of the game. I've never seen it before. And Middleton, like, it's in his name. He was mid. I mean, he played up to, like, what you expect him to. And I've never seen a good defender like Drew Holiday get dogged by just a superior offensive player like Jimmy Butler did. Like, he was literally saying, I own you. Like, what are you doing? Like, he was talking shit while like hitting these crazy shots like to him. And when he hit that fall away shot to tie the game, he was walking past Drew Holiday, and he was like, "That should have been
because he had 23."
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I mean, okay, like the thing with Jimmy Butler is, I've always been a big Jimmy Butler fan, and I feel like teams just can't buy into him just because of his character, which is pretty annoying because he always puts out. Like when he was in Chicago, he was really good. When he went to the Wolves, they couldn't deal with him. I mean, you remember that Wolves story? Like, he came into practice, got all the junky-ass players, and they ran scrimmage, ran the starters out the gym, and he's all like, that's what the fuck I could do, and he left, and then he later got traded. And then he went to the Sixers, and the Sixers wanted to roll with Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris. But Butler and Embiid together, should have they should still be playing together, but they're not. But now, Jimmy Butler's in Miami.
They paid Tobias over him. Yeah. They paid Tobias.
They paid Tobias, and they're like, yeah, we'll keep Ben Simmons. Like I like Philly. I really do, but they do not have the Clippers' Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris is like a fourth option. He's a really good fourth option. But, dude, I just don't understand why, just how this happened, really. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. But as a Phoenix Suns fan, I am very, very happy that the Bucks got kicked because, it was fluky. Because we went off statistics. We should have won that series considering what we were ranked in just about everything. And especially with the free throw game, and then Giannis just hit every goddamn free throw. They made every shot, and there was nothing that we could do about it. So, with that being said, Ahmed, did you have any closing thoughts before we get off the Bucks in Miami?
No, I mean, look, dude, like the Bucks are they're top heavy. Their team is top heavy. They rely on three or four players.
Should Bud get fired?
Yes, he should be fired. Yeah. He should have been. That's the thing, dude. That's the whole thing. If KD's foot isn't on the line, then he gets fired. They don't go to the finals.
If Giannis didn't injure Kyrie, Giannis is always in people's landing zones. He injured Kyrie because he's a reckless player. I like Giannis as a person.
He's a bull in a china shop, man. That dude, that's how he plays.
Yeah, he's a reckless player, and he injures just about everybody. And I'm surprised Bam didn't get fucked up by this dude. And I want to talk about Bam real quick. Bam played great drop coverage on Giannis. I don't know if you saw it enough, but Drew Holiday would try like floating the ball to Giannis, drive it down, and what every center does is that they try to match up and get a body against Giannis when he catches the ball. But Bam was like, I'm going after the ball and I'm making sure he's not getting this easy drop, because as soon as Giannis gets the ball, I mean, it's unpredictable at that point.
Look, dude, this is where Budenholzer fucked up. Yes. He didn't run Middleton, Giannis pick and rolls, because he ran that against the Suns like almost every time.
Yeah,
he barely ran that against the Heat, and that was a disservice to his offense, because that pick and roll is unstoppable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's just so many things you can do with that pick and roll. And then even that, like, they didn't even do like the Lopez Giannis or the Lopez Middleton pick and roll.
No, they didn't.
Yeah. So, it's all on Budenholzer. He shouldn't have been fired that season when he won the championship, ironically, because they would not have made the finals that year.
He was bad that series too. Like,
yeah,
like if we're keeping it a no pun intended a buck, like that his sets were bad. It was just like them shooting unconsciously.
I mean, like Drew Holiday and like Chris Middleton, like they were unstoppable in that series.
Yeah,
they were unstoppable for the most part. Like literally, offensively and defensively, like they were just stopping Booker, stopping Chris Paul, just taking away campaign. Like they were just, it was too much of those guys. And then you had Giannis going for that much. And then you had DA getting in foul trouble every like first quarter. Mm-hmm. So it was like we were always playing from behind. And I'm not saying like it was the refs or it was anything like that. I'm just saying like the team wasn't built for that. But honestly, if we matched up against that team now, like, I mean, they lost in the first round. So it's easy to say we beat them in the finals, but like they were the favorite going in. So like I would take my chances against that team versus like anybody else. I mean, yeah, there's like easier teams to play, but I'm like with Kevin Durant, like I think we beat that team.
Yeah. I was petrified if we made it to the promised land and the Bucks were there, just because even though Bud is sus as hell, I just didn't want to put up with Drew Holiday again. I didn't want Chris Middleton to just become prime Jordan, and I didn't want the series to fall back into what it was a couple seasons ago, that was predicated on the goddamn free throws and DA getting like fouled out. It was insane. But okay. Anyway, the Bucks are done. They're toast. And it's going to be an interesting summer with them because a lot of people have to get paid. There's going to be some moving around. Giannis might not extend his contract, even though he has 2 more years. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that could happen with this team this summer, and Nick Nurse is available. They might just swap white dudes and just roll with him, man.
Look, I think that's smart. I think they should do that. So there's a couple things that can happen for that team. So Chris Middleton can opt into a $40 million 1-year deal.
Yeah.
Or he can opt out and be a free agent. I think in his interest, it's probably better to opt out and sign a longer deal with Milwaukee and stay there.
Yeah.
They have to pay Robin Lopez. I don't know what his value is, but goddamn, like there's a part of me. There's a part of me that goes like, I would take him over Aiden because he kind of fits more with what we need.
Brooke is crazy. Right?
Yeah. Because he's way more physical in the post than Aiden is. He can shoot the 3, even though we don't need that at his position. He's a good offensive rebounder. He runs on the pick and roll like he's a rim roller. So there's a lot. I'm like, well, maybe think about this. Maybe there's a trade there. Would you do Ayton for Chris Middleton and Lopez if there's like a You know, you have to like throw some like, 'cause we don't have first round picks right now, but like something that makes that work.
I wouldn't want to deal with them. I would want to get a third team in. I don't
Yeah,
want
I
to.
think you have to. I think there's the only way it's going to work because we don't have first round picks.
I don't want to send another Suns player to the Bucks. I really don't. They already have Javon Carter, Jay Crowder.
He's a free agent, by the way. He can come back. He can come back. He's a free agent.
Yeah. Yeah, Javon Carter can come back. He just went and got his money somewhere else, which I'm totally cool with. You know, you do you. But yeah, Jay Crowder is hilarious. But yeah, like a third team would have to be involved. I would want DA to go somewhere else. I know Dallas keeps on bringing up DA. Like they didn't bag him like the whole last playoff run. Like all this dude's trash, and all of a sudden they want him. You know, it's crazy. But
and they don't have any picks to give up. They have no value on their team that we would want.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. So our two ops in the NBA have lit themselves on fire, which I love to see. I can't say it enough. It feels good, you know. And going into this playoff run, I said it before and I'll say it again. I was not expecting a championship this season, but you know I get annoyed pretty quick. I feel like we have the ability to, and you know that goes as long as you know Monty stays clear up here, and the talent speaks for itself. I mean, Booker's been playing out of this world. He's been incredible. The way that we're using KD, I'm not too crazy about, but I feel like Monty. I'm trying to give Monty credit here. I'm hoping he just hit a lot of shit, so there wasn't really film for the Nuggets to kind of just go off of. Because I mean, this team is basically brand new, so like you don't want to like if you're not going to show anything, might as well not show anything against your first round matchup, you know, and just be as simplistic as possible.
They didn't run their typical, and that's the thing is like I guess with KD it's different, but a lot of teams have already seen us run drag, pick and roll, Spain pick and roll, like all these things. We didn't really do that. We just went one on one.
It was like a lot of ISO.
One on one and just cooked you.
Yeah, it was a lot of ISO. We ran the pick and roll. I saw the number. It was about 200 times, and we only did 46 with KD. So I think that was intentional. And like I know everyone got mad about that Monty comment, like he's a very expensive decoy or whatever. Like I didn't take it so seriously. I mean, I understand the approach of it. Like we saw Booker just go crazy. He averaged 36 points. And that's because KD's on the goddamn court, and he has Eric Gordon and Terrence Mann on him. But like when we start running our shit, the Nuggets cannot guard the mids. Okay, let's get into the Nuggets preview now since we're getting into it and stuff. First game's on Saturday at 5:30. The time is official now. I love that time, so like the game can wrap up and I can enjoy my night. Yep. Going into the series, how are you feeling? Scale 1 to 10 about this opponent.
I feel I'm probably like a 6.5 to a 7.
Yeah.
My only concern is that the Nuggets have continuity with their team. They have a really deep bench. They have some players that can just literally go off for 30 points. They have like 4 guys that can go off for 30 points anytime. You're going to expect 30 points from Jokic anyways, so that's a given. The rest of the team, like, are they going to do it every game? I think we're going to see a couple games where Jamal Murray and like probably like Michael Porter Jr. go off, and like we're just going to have to live with it, and we're probably going to lose that game. But we got Book and KD.
Yeah.
And Ayton has to show the defense that he showed 2 years ago against Jokic. Problem is Jokic is better than he was 2 years ago. Because he's not going to get as frustrated as he did that time when he would try to just barrel into Ayton, and Ayton was just like, "No, bro, I'm strong, bro. I'm not Shaq strong, but I'm like Ben Wallace strong. Like you're not going to go through my chest." My concern is with him being a 2-time MVP at this point, that he's going to get a lot of foul calls, which is going to send Ayton to the bench, which now I know we got Biyombo to guard to Giannis, but now maybe we have Biyombo to guard Jokic.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe that's the guy that can guard him. Because I would not put Jock Landale anywhere near him.
Yeah, no, I don't think this is a Jock series. If we were gonna run Jock, it would have been in the Clippers series.
Yeah,
but Bismack did great, so I'm not.
He did awesome.
Yeah,
he did awesome.
Yeah.
So the other thing that worries me is I lost my train of thought. Yeah, so I was talking about the foul trouble part. The other part is who's going to guard who on the defensive side for the Nuggets. So I hear a lot of people saying that they're going to put like KCP on Chris Paul. I'm like, that's a waste of a defensive player.
Yeah.
I put him on Booker.
Yeah.
You know, I think that Okogie has to start this series. I think he has to be on Jamal Murray and create problems for him. And then because then you could play, KD can switch between Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. Like, I'm not worried about that part. Or Booker, can swap between those guys too. Or he can be on KCP. Like, there's a lot of things where you can hide some players on our team to get some rest so that they're ready on the offensive side. But like, yeah, I'm more worried about like what they do when they switch out some players and switch like they'll, because we're going to do the same thing that they're going to do, where we're going to keep 2 or 3 starters in the court. And when they start swapping in like, Reggie Jackson, like that's where I'm like, who's going to guard Reggie Jackson if we're going to a bench unit? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like, again, people keep on talking about our lack of depth and stuff. And it's been kind of annoying because one, like, I don't think our depth is the issue. It's just Monty's playing the wrong guys, and Campaign was out. So that kind of messed up a little bit, a little of what we had going on in the Clippers series. I wish we would have figured it out a lot sooner, and because I don't want to throw in these guys cold. Like, we threw in Damian Lee, and don't get me wrong, the offense and the defense flowed a lot better, but you can tell D. Lee was a little rusty when we finally threw him in, So,
I mean, look, dude, I really think this series you're going to see Terrence Ross and T.J. Warren.
I at least Terrence Ross.
Yeah,
we threw in Warren. He didn't look all the way there, but again, we threw him in there cold when
and he didn't get much time to like any rhythm either.
Yeah, no, not at all. I think it was maybe like a minute and a half in like 2 games, and I was just like, whatever. And I hope to God we don't see any Landry Shamet. Let me just talk.
God damn, dude. Why was he playing in the final minute?
We're over the Clippers shit. Dude, I almost broke my fucking desk. I just got this new desk. I really like it, but when I saw Shamet enter the game after we blew like a 22-point lead, I almost just cracked through it. I don't care if we ended up winning it, but dude, Landry Shamet showed in 4 straight possessions why he should not be touching the floor at this point.
God damn, bro.
He drove too hard. He fumbled a pass. He shot some bullshit shot, and like Monty's logic was spacing. Dude, we have 5 other players that can do it.
Yeah.
Where was Torrey Craig?
Yeah.
Where Terrence
Ross needed Torrey Craig on the court in that moment.
Right, yeah.
And here's the thing, dude. Because we're saying this and talking shit, Landry Shamet's going to have 15 points in one game next series.
Which, great. Yeah. But I'm going to keep on criticizing. Why is he in there?
We don't know why. We keep going back to like 2 years ago when this guy would drop 20 points in the game. We're like, oh shit, like this guy is like the next Booker. We don't know what this guy's going to be. But he hasn't. I don't know, man. I know Monty's really tied to him. There's some emotional connection, spiritual connection. I don't know, whatever the fuck's going on with those guys. I just like everybody sees this. Everybody sees this.
Everybody, even fucking Gambo and Dan Brickley, dude. And they're so like, oh, Monty knows best. Fucking, they're even saying like, dude, like Shamet should not be touching the floor, dude.
Yeah,
and
especially when you have if you're looking for a guy that gives you like mid defense and like is just a chucker, I'd rather put Terrence Ross in the game.
Exactly. And towards the end of the year, Ross looked better on defense. Yeah, it was still pretty bad, but like again, it seems like everybody scores on Shamet, and because Shamet can stay in front of people, it doesn't mean it's good defense.
Yeah.
And if we're trying to maximize offense, Monty, that's what he said, and I quote, "I want to maximize."
And guess what?
Offense.
He's not a point guard. He's not a point guard. Like just let let Book run a point guard, and then let Terrence Ross be the secondary like ball handler or third ball handler, and let him cook. Like that's where Terrence Ross is his best player.
This comment right here, he's the new Nader, but we knew what Nader was. And
dude, like, I'll say this: Nader was so much better than Shamet. Nader was way better than Shamet.
Nader attacked the rim, and when he scored, we fucking cheered. When Shamet scores, we're still like, why is he in the game?
The difference is that like Shamet goes to the rim, and you have no idea if he's going to score.
Yeah.
If Pyramid Poppy goes to the rim, he might get fouled.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just reckless. Like what he did was more reckless. What like Shamet did is what I see in pickup games where I'm like, bro, like you are not that guy. You cannot, you're not going to score there. You know what I mean? I know you're a little athletic, but you don't know how to finish against a dude that's like 4 or 5 inches taller than you or even more in the NBA, right? Where they're like, have like longer wingspan. So I'm like, what are you doing, guy? And then like, you know, his shooting, I don't even know how to classify it because I can't like I feel like ever since he's been a Sun, other than like the first like month or 2 months, he was good. But since then, I'm like watching like this like just a pickup guy chucker dude. I'm like, bro, you're not supposed to shoot. You need to pass to other people that can shoot. Yeah. You're not supposed to shoot the ball. Like they're running the offense for you, but you need to do something else. You need to drive. You need to pass it. You need to, you know, do something else.
Like I was in a Twitter space. It was like a pretty big Suns one. And they were talking about the game. And I had a chance to speak. I'm like, I've never seen a worse 40% three-point shooter ever than Shamet, dude. Like that's his average of this year. It's 40%. That's really good, but
I don't believe you. I don't believe you. There's no way he's a 40%. He's a 40% three-point shooter?
Yeah, he's 40%.
He made them all of them in like he made all of them when Booker was hurt then. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Oh, okay. I do want to give Monty credit. He made adjustments. I was saying Okogie should have started. I'm still kind of in that camp. But Torrey Craig's threes did save us. So I think Torrey Craig might end up starting in this series. But I'd rather have Okogie start because the POA towards Jamal Murray, I think, is going to be pretty huge. Make Jamal Murray work and stuff. And they've been calling travels on him this year. So I would love to, you know, see that in this playoffs because there's this thing with Jamal Murray and travels against the Suns, but he just gets away with it all the time. But in like every other,
we saw it in that overtime game. Remember the overtime game? Yeah, where Booker got hurt. Yeah.
So anyway, Monty made adjustments. He played Okogie a lot more. He cut back Shamet's minutes. He put in Damian Lee, and those things added up to really good plus minuses across the board. So transferring that over to this Denver series, I'm looking at the stats here, and they're relatively even. So people saying that this is a 7-game series are probably going off what I'm seeing on NBA.com right here. So you probably saw that flex tweet going into the Clippers series about like our target score to keep the Clippers under was like 110. Do you remember seeing that?
Yes.
So the Denver Nuggets average 115.8 points per game. So and us were 113.6, and this is since the All-Star break. So if we keep the Nuggets below 110, I mean they're not a high-scoring team, but they'll butcher you up in like quick sets and MPJ pull-ups and stuff. So if we can keep them under 110, limit the three-point shooting, I mean that definitely works in our favor. And Rebounds 43 to 44. Us in favor of rebounds. Rebounding is going to be key in this because now they have Thomas Bryant. I'm pretty sure they still have DeAndre Jordan. I don't know who exactly their backup center is. Do you know?
No, I don't know.
Because I don't know who comes in for Jokic. It's
That's
probably
fine. I mean, whatever it is, it's not. Look, dude. Here's what it comes down to: the Suns have to play their game. They need to have 30 assists, 27 to 30 assists a game.
We average 27. Yeah.
Yeah. Defensively, they need to take away the 3-point shot for this.
Yeah.
And that means you let Jokic cook. Let him cook. Do what he wants to do. Take away everybody else. You put your best defenders on Murray, and I would say Gordon. I'm not that concerned about MPJ as much as everybody else is, because I feel like he's a liability in the fact that he's a chucker. So yeah, he can have a game where he can win you the game, but there's more chances he can lose you the game. And the more minutes that he's on the court, he's the pigeon. And we saw what we did to him. He's not a better defensive player than he was 2 years ago. He's the same.
So during when we're playing them in the playoffs a couple seasons ago, I really don't remember MPJ. Did he play in that series?
He did. He was injured. He was limited, but if you go back and watch, Booker put him in the spin cycle. He put him into school. He said, let's just switch, get MPJ, and then I'm just going to roast this motherfucker. And that's what Booker did. And that's what CP3 did. And here's the other thing that's different than 2 years ago. CP3, if I remember correctly, he averaged like 25 points in that series. He was shooting like 75% from 3 in the series. Chris Paul, if you guys don't remember, like the only thing I remember from that series is just Chris Paul putting on a goddamn show.
Yeah.
Of like, I am the point guard. That's me, bro. I'm that dude.
Because Jokic wouldn't step up and drop. So it just left Chris with this wide open mid every time, dude.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you remember too, like he had a point at the end of the game 4 where he could have dunked the ball off that Mikal Bridges. He stole it, saved it, and he could have went up and dunked it. He laid it in. And but he was doing everything. Like Chris Paul on offense was doing everything for the Suns. And it was coming to him so effortlessly. It's not going to happen this time around, but we got KD this time. That's the difference. Yeah. They have no one that can guard KD.
And if Evan was on this pod, he would definitely bring up like Eric Gordon and all these guys on the Clippers that made KD flustered. They were doubling him. There was always somebody on him. The whole Russ narrative really annoyed the fuck out of me because anytime Russ matched him face to face in an ISO situation, KD cooked him every time. Russ was just hitting shots from behind, and it's a good defensive play. Don't get me wrong, but like, let's not overblow it. And like how they're covering KD is probably what the Nuggets are going to kind of try to do, or probably to Booker. It's like they're going to try to double at least in spurts throughout the series. Like you can't really double against this team. If Chris is like 50% of what he is now, I mean, he could still put up 15.
Yeah, that's all he needs to do. He just needs to make this. Here's the thing, dude. Think of like go and look at the Clippers. The Nuggets have Jokic, Murray, and MPJ. They're all average to below average defenders. Do the Clippers have anybody that's average to below average defenders?
What, the Nuggets?
Like, just think about it. Do they have anybody?
I mean, Eric Gordon's decent.
He's stout. He's a stout defender. No, I'm saying, who do they have that's not good defensively?
Oh, not good defensively. Jokic.
No, I'm saying on the Clippers.
Oh, on the Clippers. Yeah, just about everybody's good on defense.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's different. Like they have three of their starters do not play good defense.
Yeah.
So in a pick and roll situation, in a Spain pick and roll, a drag pick and roll, you're gonna cook these dudes. Even in ISO, if you put Jamal Murray on Kevin Durant, what's going to happen?
Right.
You know what I mean?
KD's
Like
pulling it every time. Yeah.
Yeah. If Jokic gets matched up on Booker, it's over.
Mm. And like here's the thing. So like they're gonna do drop. Like that's their thing. So if Mike Malone decides to have Jokic come up, that leaves a DA drive or like if KD's in the corner and if DA is driving, then the help needs to come towards him. Else it's just an easy 2 every time. But if that guy comes in for the help on DA, then fucking KD's open in the corner. Or Torrey Craig in the opposite corner, depending on which side we run it. So it's like you can't double there. If you try sagging off a drop and letting Chris pull it, you just gotta hope that he's having an off night. And that's what every series is going to kind of be. I feel like for the Suns, it's just like when you're defending them, it's like you kind of have to hope that they miss shots because you can't double. You can't pick out a pigeon. I mean, I feel like that's the main reason why we're starting Torrey because like,
and that's the thing. Like, if you want to call the Suns not deep, tell me who you want to go 1-on-1. Chris Paul, that's the only guy you want to go 1-on-1 against. Right. You don't want to go 1-on-1 against anybody else on this team defensively. Yeah, I mean, there's some guys that are not as great individual defensive players, the Damian Lees, the Terrence Rosses, those guys. But like overall, like this team defensively, and that's why I'm like that's why we know when they say depth, we're like depth is not just scoring. Yeah. Depth is role playing. And we have all the role players to make that work.
And depth is buying minutes for the starters. You know, if the depth is doing good or at least trading buckets with the opposing team, they're doing their job. Or just like playing really stellar defense or trading the buckets. We just need campaign and crew to just not blow a lead. The starter's job is to make a comfortable lead, a comfortable enough lead for not only for them to get rest, but the bench unit can like take over for a bit and then, pull them and, like everyone watches basketball. They know how it works, but we have the depth. It's just Monty played the wrong people and Payne was out. So Payne, D. Lee, Bismack, and I hope Ross. Those are the main 4 I want to see going in. And if we're running with those 4 with either KD or Book or Chris comes in for Payne and then DA comes in for Bismack and it's still Ross and D. Lee, I'm feeling pretty good, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if they're really playing Reggie Jackson like that. I have no idea. I did not watch a lick of that Nuggets Wolves series. So I have no clue if they're playing Reggie Jackson or Thomas.
No, I saw the 2 games where they played against the Suns with Reggie Jackson when like Jokic and Murray and all those dudes were out, and he was trying to put on that like Clippers performance that he did against us 2 years ago. I mean, look, man, I just say like I have my thoughts about Reggie Jackson. Like so the funny part is I don't know if I've said this already in the pod at least 2 times. He thought he was better than Westbrook. So he left to go to Detroit to take more money because he's like, I'm a better starting point guard than this dude. He went there. That's what he thought. This dude with his like volleyball glasses on out there hooping like he's like playing squash and shit. Like, I mean, yeah, he really looks good against the Suns, but when you watch him against other teams, and I've watched the Clippers when he was on the Clippers play other teams, he's garbage. Like he is such a hit and miss player. It's like catching like Landry Shamet on a 30-point night and being like, God damn, man, they got to play this guy like 30 minutes a game. He's a 6-man a year. And then you watch it and you're like, no, because why does he have the ball in his hand for like 18 seconds of the shot clock? Why is he taking a step back 3? No one else is touching the ball. You know, it's just bad. It's bad.
And this is what separates because Payne was really good in that Clipper series, but this is what separates Payne from other backup point guards. When he's playing solid IQ basketball, he is a positive on the court, and that's exactly what this team needs. And he does score He can be efficient. He's going to have one or two plays when you're like, what the fuck are you doing? But Payne is huge for this team. And when we play at a nice, faster pace than what we typically do, I think we're like 23rd in pace this year. When we play with intensity and we're running the court, if we have Payne in, that's what KD. That's how KD thrives. That's how Booker thrives. And Da moves better than any other center like in the league right now. So if we're doing that, I mean the half court offense is going to come pretty easy. This is a great comment here. I didn't know Jokic and Gordon were leading or top 5 in personal fouls. So that's going to be huge because if we can get Jokic in some foul trouble, I mean, that would be great. And, yeah, Gordon could be a little sloppy on defense sometimes, but his defense has gotten a lot better. But I did want to address this because this was a problem in game 1 against the Clippers. It was the backdoor cuts. And they chopped us up in that shit. And, of course, we fixed it, but the defense was still kind of sus on our end.
And that's what Aaron Gordon does.
Yeah. So Aaron Gordon he leads the NBA in backdoor cuts points. And I think he has like 230, which is insane. So if we cut off that backdoor cut just in general, I feel like we limit this offense a lot. And that's me just thinking very surface level.
Yeah. I just, I think so should we go to predictions now and just like predict?
Yeah, we talked about matchups. We talked about just how even they are statistically. As long as Da plays like how he did last year, he really does not need to score. But if they try doing that drop coverage shit and he has that free midi, I want him to take it every time because there's going to be a night when he's just banging it. But as long as he's with Jokic hands up, doing whatever, not getting too physical, and he's just snatching boards, that's all I want. That's all I want. Because if we beat this team in the rebounding category and we're not, we're getting to the line and stuff, I think just those two things alone can, win us, multiple games. So,
dude, this is the first time since 2021 that the Suns don't have home court advantage.
Yeah.
The first time. So I think like they know the importance of winning at least one game on their home court.
Yeah.
And hopefully the focus is there for Da where he's just not doing stupid things. I know like at this point we know he can't catch the ball. Like we know that. Mm-hmm. It's weird because he can snatch a rebound away from like 3 guys, but he can't catch a ball like to him when nobody there. Like what is happening? We don't understand what's going on there. I don't know if it's his hands, concentration, whatever it is, but you're right. Like Da, if he just does what he needs to do, play defense, pick and roll, take the short roll, take the jumper, look for the open threes in the corner. He doesn't need to even drive to the rim because Denver has a lot of athletic players that can challenge him at the rim. And I don't think that's going to go the way that we think it should go, but we know how it's going to go, Yeah. Like if he was like Amari, it would be over, but he's not Amari. He's not that dude. So just go ahead and just kick it to Torrey Craig, Josh Okogie, KD in the corner, hit those threes, get the offensive rebounds if they miss, and kick it out again. Like just do that. That's all he has to do. But we know like the way that this team is built, they're 12-1 with Kevin Durant, including the playoffs. Like if it comes down to a close game, I'm taking the Suns every time.
Yeah. And like Jamal Murray's healthy. I know it's kind of like a joke with us and stuff, but he is having a really good season. Jokic is a lot better.
Yeah, but here's the thing: like everybody, like everybody thinks of the bubble Murray. That guy doesn't exist, dude. A lot of those bubble guys don't exist. The Jay Crowder bubble doesn't exist. The Anthony Davis bubble guy doesn't exist. The what?
TJ Warren.
TJ Warren bubble guy definitely doesn't exist. So it's like, I mean, he's averaging 20 points a game on like 44% shooting. Like he's
Really
not
solid.
that dude.
Yeah.
He's not that dude. He's a benefit. He's a bifactor, or what do you call it? He's a benefactor of Jokic.
Yeah.
If you put him on somewhere else, he's not going to give you that efficiency, and that's not even great efficiency. Versus like, you know, if he was the main guy, right? He's basically Donovan Mitchell, okay, except not as athletic. Maybe a better shooter, but not as athletic. So I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah. My feelings exactly. I mean, we know what this team's about. We know Mike Malone's tendencies. We do have to watch out for KCP because he can line it up. MPJ, he's been shooting pretty good this year. Not much of a driver. I think that's because, you know, his body and stuff at this point. But we can't get complacent. I feel like if we win game one, that's a tone setter, and it's going to be a little demoralizing. And if we at least come home for game 3 and 4 with the series at least split, I'm feeling pretty good coming back to Phoenix and possibly going back to Denver being up 3-1. So those are my thoughts. Final prediction for you. I mean, I know this is a Suns podcast, so I feel like you and I are basically on the same page, but put a number on it.
I'm going to say 6. I'm going to say the Suns win one game in Denver, and the Nuggets win one game in Phoenix, and then we end this series in 6 in Phoenix.
Okay. Yeah, I have Phoenix in 6. I think we split in Denver. I think Phoenix takes game 1. Game 2 will be a tight one, and it'll probably just be a couple of possession games and stuff. We come back to Phoenix, you know, we take care of home, and then we close it out in Denver, hopefully. So that's my prediction. I said in the Clippers series 6 as well. I think 6 is a good number for this Nuggets team. A lot of people are going 7. I could definitely see why they're picking 7, but a lot of people are picking the Nuggets because, you know, they don't like Phoenix. So we definitely have some dogs in the fight, and if it comes to a shootout, I'm taking Phoenix every time because KD and Book, I think, are that duo.
And CP3 too. CP's like, he's balling too.
Yeah. So if we're just going surface level, KD and Book versus Yoke and Murray, I feel like most people would just pick KD and Book, and that alone should kind of, you know, judge the series. You know, like the best player in the series is usually, you know, the team that wins it, you know. So I feel like as long as we have the best player on the court, I think we're going to be all right. And KD healthy, I mean, I think he's better than Giannis. You can put Jokic in that conversation just because of how strong his IQ is on offense and what he can do on the court. But I think KD healthy runs laps around these guys. And that was even before he was a Phoenix Sun.
Because the difference is like KD, it doesn't matter who you put on it. Like, yeah, Jokic, you can put the best defenders, the DeAndre Aytons, the Jaren Jacksons, those guys on him, but they can take away everybody else. You can take everybody else away from KD, and that's plays right into what he does best.
Yeah.
Like, he will just cook you ISO. He will find ways to get people open. He will drive and kick. He did that Euro step thing, which I haven't seen him do in a while.
That was
the last game.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, the dude is just like,
and he's been really good from the 3, man. Him just dribbling up and just pulling up, it's been good. He was 4 or 6 in the last game.
Yeah. So I'm not worried about Book. Book is ascended to the next level.
Yeah.
You know, he's Dev Him Booker now. Like he's cooking.
Yeah, no, like,
and it's not even just the offense; it's the defense. He's a more efficient Jimmy Buckets right now.
Yeah, like the only 2 people that should be in the conversation for the best players in the playoffs right now is Jimmy Butler and Booker, and you can kind of just change them around. I feel like
I would take Booker because I would say that Booker's shooting a higher percentage and he's making his free throws.
his true shooting is
Jimmy
crazy.
Butler,
Yeah.
dude, Jimmy Butler in the last game, they won that game. He missed 5 free throws.
Yeah.
Like Booker hasn't missed more than 1 free throw in a game.
Yeah.
And he's shooting like 9 free throws a game.
Yeah. And just that third quarter alone and game 5 was, it was,
I mean,
it was poetry,
It was spiritual. That's what KD
spiritual.
says. Spiritual.
Yeah, it was spiritual. So to boil it down, I think as long as our defense is better this series than it was in the Clipper series, we handle the boards and, we cut off the passing lanes. I think we're good. I think 6 games is reasonable. I know this Denver team is really good. They're battle tested a little bit because they went against the Lakers in the bubble, but we just have firepower, and it's kind of hard to It's like, would you rather have KD or Yoke? It's just like, it's just, like I don't know. And I know we sound like homers right now, but I mean, how can you not be confident in just those two alone? They're healthy together. It's just like
I just from what, if anybody's watched these playoffs and you've seen KD play with the Nets or with the Warriors by himself, this guy can carry a team.
Yeah.
But you put that next to Devin Booker, and then the third guy is Chris Paul. It's hard for me to fathom how there would have to be injuries, there would have to be foul trouble, there would have to be an entire collapse. But the fact that these guys can figure it out on the fly, because the playoffs, they always boil down to just ISO play. I don't know if you saw the end of the Atlanta game, but that was just DeJounte Murray or Trae Young going ISO. That's what the end of the game was, or Tatum. It was all ISO. That's all it was. And I'm like, I'll take. And the funny thing is, I'm watching Tatum. I'm like, it's step back 3. I already know what this guy's gonna do. I'm like, Trae, he's gonna do the floater. DeJounte's gonna try to go to the rim, get blocked. It was just the typical stuff. But Booker and Durant, you're not gonna block their shot at the end of the game. Mm-hmm. It's just not gonna happen that way. They're not gonna they might miss the shot, but they're gonna get the shot they want. They're gonna get to the spot. Mm-hmm. And I didn't see that from what I've seen from the rest of these playing teams. And the Nuggets had a really, really good regular season. Jokic, they didn't announce the MVP, right? We don't know who that is yet.
No.
So it's either I think it's either Joker or Embiid. Probably Embiid.
I think they're gonna give it to Embiid because I'm not trying to bag Jokic before we play him, dude. I'm really not. It's just I don't think Jokic is the guy you get 3 straight MVPs to.
Well, and especially because this is a year that Embiid was actually healthy the whole year.
You're right.
He was dominant as shit. He was dominant.
Yeah.
So it definitely has to go to him. But that being said, if Joker's on your team, you're going to win 50 games. It doesn't matter who's there.
Yeah.
They're going to win 50 games.
With all due respect. Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
But what happens in the playoffs, right? And that's where we're at. Is what happens in the playoffs. There's no excuses now. No excuses. Number 1 seed, home court, Jamal Murray, you got your squad. I don't want to hear any excuses from anybody in Denver.
Yeah.
But I'll put my money on KD and Book all day.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we're on the same page. Suns in 6, we're in consensus. I really hope it goes that way. If we can finish it in 5, sooner than expected, that'd be great. As long as we just play better and we just play Phoenix Suns ball and Monty isn't weird, I think we take care of this. And people are going to talk about our depth, but Nuggets struggle in that too, and no one's talking about the Nuggets depth. Yeah. Just names pop a little bit more on the Nuggets side. So whatever. So. Suns in 6. That's our prediction. Evan's not going to give us prediction. So he probably agrees with us, but he's not going to say it on here. But did you have any closing thoughts about anything, the series in general, before we get out of here?
No, man. I know we didn't get to talk Cardinals. We should probably do that maybe in the next pod.
Paris Johnson, welcome to
Yes.
the Arizona Cardinals. Your dad was a stud here in '99. That was a good pickup for us at the time. And to have you here is pretty crazy. Now I'm at the age when these guys are a little younger than me and they're making like millions of dollars and it makes me feel like shit. Dude, I'm 3 days older than Zion Williamson. This dude doesn't even play and he's fucking like just rolling in dough. Like,
dude, first of all, the fact that you could pull up and be like, Paris Johnson his dad played in the Cardinals. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Okay. What position?
Same position.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Wait. Hey.
That's wild, dude. I didn't even know that. So, I mean, look, man, this guy's going to look good because he wore the Ohio State jerseys and he's going to wear the Ohio State jerseys for the Cardinals. It's the same fucking jersey. So,
what do you think about the unis?
I don't like them, but I mean, maybe they'll grow on me. We'll see. I'll have to, one time I'm going to have to talk. We're going to have to do this talk about Loyola Marymount when I went to college, what our original uniforms were. And then they switched the colors and the whole scheme. And everybody fucking hated it. But then after like a month, we're like, yo, this shit is fucking fire. Like, I don't know what happened. We're just like, yo, they did the right thing. I don't know if I'm going to say that about the Cardinals. I think at least the black helmets will match the black uniforms this time because they did not match before. So that's a good thing. But like, I don't know, man. It just it's too like it doesn't feel unique.
I agree. I really like the white ones. The white ones are clean. I think there's uniform rules that we can't use a flag, which kind of fucking sucks. We have a pretty unique flag, and Baltimore gets to use theirs. But I digress. But they kind of have it in like part of their logo, so I think that's kind of like the loophole. But the white ones are clean. I really like the black ones. I mean, it's simplistic. Just about every NFL team is doing that. But I would have loved if the Commanders didn't do it. Like, how they did like their uniform rollout. I really like their uniforms. If we like ended up stealing those and the Commanders didn't have
stole them. I feel like we stole them, didn't we?
We stole Ohio State's, yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like it's just too simple, bro. Like, I feel like, yeah, the flag is like that was the one thing I'm like, I need to see that on the sleeve. But
if
like,
you add the flag to these jerseys, they're top 10 in the league.
Yeah, they need to add the flag, but like, I don't know. I just felt like they could have done something different with the pants, like something on. I don't know. It's just missing something. Like it makes me miss the old ones, even though I hated those ones.
Yeah, I mean, we're over the Reebok shit. I mean, we just need a change. I'm not a big fan of the red ones, but the more that I see it, the more I'm okay with it. And we just needed a new look, and we're starting a new process where we're in the middle of rebuilding. And the freaking Monty said today, Austin Ford, not Monty Williams. Monty said that he doesn't plan on trading D-Hop, which is great. And I hope we don't trade Budda Baker. If we don't trade these two, and we got the picks that we did, and then we got Paris Johnson, and then we get to play Myjai Sanders and Cam Thomas next year, I'm feeling pretty okay, man. We're still probably going to be really bad. I'm praying on the Texans' downfall because we have their 2 picks. So if they're awful next year, I mean, we get some pickings, So, I'm okay with how things are going right now. I really am. So,
I mean, we could turn things around with a corner if we got a really stud corner.
We definitely need a corner. Losing Byron's huge. Yeah.
We need a corner for sure. And then I like building the offensive line. I really think they should go after the dude on the Chiefs that is a free agent. I don't know if they will or not. I was talking to a Chiefs fan tonight at my son's soccer practice, and he's like, yeah, man, they're like, who knows what's going to happen with that dude. The guy that they traded for from the Ravens. I can't remember his name. All pro dude. But either
I
way,
know who
I'm
you're
just
talking
like,
about. I'm spacing on the.
yeah, I don't know his name. I don't know his name. No one seems to know his name. But he's an all pro. And but I mean, you just have to retool the defense. Retool the defense, build up the offensive line. That gives you a chance.
Yeah.
You know, it really depends on when Kyler comes back, because hopefully it's like early, like within after 4 weeks or somewhere sooner than that, or within that period. But if it's like goes beyond that, then we're kind of fucked.
It sounds like he might be ready in towards the beginning of the season. Probably not week 1, probably not week 2, but week 3. I mean, I'll take it. I mean, he looks really good, man. I mean, everything that I'm seeing. I mean, he's moving like somebody that maybe twisted or like sprained their ankle, and they're kind of getting back into the swing of things.
Yeah, so, the thing is like we have to see him in contact, and we have to see him practice with these guys.
Yeah,
and that's where he's going to get the trust. If he doesn't have that, then I don't know. But anyways, bro, it's running late.
Oh yeah.
Get out
but
of here.
Yeah, closing thoughts. I'm glad we're building up the line. I'm like line work is a must. So I'm glad we're making moves. We didn't pick a fucking linebacker. So we're banging on all cylinders. We could probably pick up a cornerback tomorrow. Just continue to build that defense, like you said. And I think just building blocks, man. It's like we have picks going forward as long as we're not stupid. I mean, I'm not going to talk about the tampering thing because that seems kind of targeted, but whatever. So Cardinals are doing their thing. Suns game on Saturday, 5:30. And we're feeling pretty confident. We'll see going forward. Hopefully Monty doesn't get stuck in his ways and he just adjusts. And that's all we're really asking for. We think the talent speaks for itself. I think we can outman this Denver Nuggets team. So hopefully Suns and 4 guys there. I'm pretty sure he lives in Denver. So it'll be funny to see him.
He needs a bodyguard if he's going to that game.
Oh yeah, he does too. And the people that he fucked up last time, they definitely need an extra layer of protection. So,
dude, I want to see a fight between the Suns money guy and those guys. Those guys need to fucking fight to the death.
Can he stop going to games, man? Like,
I don't. Do we know though? Like, we don't know for a fact. Do we know for a fact that was him?
It's him. Like his daughter like went on TikTok. It was just like, yeah, it's him.
But then how old is that guy? Because like he looks like he's like in his like mid-30s,
15. Yeah, it's like
right. And the daughter's like looks like she's about to go to college.
Yeah, so he got to be at least 45, maybe a little under.
I don't know, man. He looked pretty. I don't know. I'm not gonna. I don't know.
Late 30s,
either way,
maybe?
Yes, keep him away. He's suspended anyways. I think they said that he's not allowed to go to games.
If that's the case, we might win the finals, man.
Well, because the Westbrook thing, like they were like he's not allowed at the stadium.
Yeah,
for this year. So someone fact checked me on that. I thought that I saw that on TMZ or somewhere. Either way, like yeah, dude, we just got to be humble. Like we know we're playing the Nuggets, but anything can happen. So we just got to keep it real. Like look at the Bucks, look at anybody, man. Look at the Kings, dude. Fuck.
You can go out anytime, man. You can go out anytime. Yeah. And like if Boston lost tonight, which they were pretty close to losing, it would have been a game 7.
Yeah.
Game 7, right?
It was game 7. Game 7.
Yeah. So I mean, it was close. I mean, they closed it out, but like it's like anything can happen, man. So we can't get caught with our pants down. We can't be complacent. We just have to handle business. And we should be on our revenge tour because we got fucking COVID last year. No one talked about it, and we just look like a bunch of dipshits. So So I'm really excited for this series. We're gonna keep on doing this. Evan was tied up in things tonight. We'll definitely push out maybe a post game pod this weekend if things go our way. We have like 4 days between game 2 and game 3. It's 4 days because we have to wait on these other series to get going.
Yeah.
So like we're gonna have a nice little break. So if we hit it hard these next 2 games, possibly go up 2-0, and then have that 4-day break coming back to Phoenix, dude. Let's go hard, man. The sooner we close out the series, the better.
Let's see KD and Book play 45 minutes again. I'm good with that.
Yeah, playing 45 minutes and fucking have a 4-day break. Just let's go hard, man. So let's get out of here. Amit, glad to see you again. Glad everything's going well. We'll stay in touch. And yeah, man, go Suns. Go Suns.
Go Suns.
And go Cardinals. Fuck. Have a good one, y'all.
Peace out.